You're listening to a Skewed Orbit original podcast.
Time, weather, and always pass.
Hi, how are you? Welcome back or welcome to it. I know I've had a lot of new people join over the last month. And aren't we all new people? I mean, every month, just seasons are changing and so are we. Not accurate. Do you know what I mean? Welcome to March. We've made it by the skin of our teeth. I know these are collective energies, so some of you may be having the best year of your life. I'm not sure. But certainly I know collectively a lot of us, it's just been a sludge this winter, just one foot in front of the other. And both, my output as far as this newsletter with the Misfit Light and with the Rachel LaFour show, all of that has showcased that energy. I've done a lot of teaching us and reminding us how to sit in that energy and the uncomfortability and the things that we don't like and what does that mean and how can it teach us. And now we've made it to March and the energy is starting to shift and change. We can feel it certainly as the spring equinox is, quickly approaching, which is also my son's first birthday, which is really exciting because of course I would have a spring equinox baby. And so there's just a lot that's coming down the pipe, but I think a lot of us are still not totally feeling like ourselves. I think a lot of us are integrating a lot of new things, whether you, like me, have been on this path for a while or whether you're just kind of dipping your toe into your inner awareness and your intuition and kind of what all of this means. You're doing a lot of work. Even if you were doing nothing and you're just existing in 2024, it's not easy. You're right. So what I want to offer us this month is back to basics. Back to basics, take it back. I think so many of us and so much of the time, there's this emphasis on we need to slow down, slow living. We need to slow down. I've done a ton of episodes about it. And what I'm realizing is we need to find our pace. What is the accurate pace? Because a lot of times when we hear slow down, we're like, no, we can't do that. There's too many balls in the air or I'm juggling too much or whatever. That's not available to us. And it's really not necessarily even about slowing down, but it's what is the pace for you that is sustainable right now? Not always, not forever, not when you have more help, not when you have more money, when you've come out of a depressive episode, wherever you are, that pace is going to be different. So I just want to offer us that reframe, that shift, that new language, that it's not about slowing down or going fast. It's a rhythm, and it's knowing that rhythm can always change. And when we're aware of those rhythms, then that way it doesn't feel like, oh, well, now I have to. It's going, what is actually going to service me? And, I am ambitious sometimes to a fault. And so this has been a huge one for me of, I've been talking about a lot there's the sentence. I have been talking about it a lot. There she goes in the Misfit Light. Of my joke is I feel like when the angels kicked me down from heaven before I was born, they're like, balance. I'm like, what? They're like, balance. Don't forget balance. It's been a whole life lesson. Also, hit me up $5 on Venmo if you've heard me tell that terrible act out 3 or 4 times at this point. I owe you Starbucks. But the point being where balance is always something for me. It's not about doing everything. It's not about doing nothing. It's not about transforming yourself so they love you. And it's not about going, well, you don't see me, so I'm walking away. And it's not about eating everything. And it's not about restricting, oh, I can't eat anything, right? What is this balance? Where is this harmony? And so much of going too fast or where we make mistakes, being overly ambitious is sometimes it's filling this void. It's this need of worthiness. Oh, I have to do this thing. And then if I can do all of it, then there is no then. There is no then. There's never going to be a place in your entire life where you're going to get to and go, I did it. I rest now. That's not real. It doesn't exist. That's not how it works. Let it go. Okay. Sorry to be the messenger, mostly speaking to myself, but it also works to have an audience. Okay. It's not real. It's not real. So we need to get super clear about what is the pace and what are the basics that we need in place in our life, and how much time does that take? Because once that time is done, then that's the time that you have for self-improvement, for building your business, for looking for a new job, for updating your dating profiles, whatever the things are that you are actively doing and looking for in your life. That is the actual time that you have, because that's how we get out of whack. That's how we burn out, because we are operating thinking, well, there's 24 hours in a day, so certainly I have 27. So of course I can get all 19 million things of these done in one day. That's not how it works. Stop doing it. Stop working against yourself. That was mostly for you, Rachel LaForce. But for those of you listening, if it also helps you, then win-win, right? So we have to go back to basics. If you're somebody who you prefer to shower and fully get ready in the morning, how long does that take? Is it an hour? Is it an hour and a half? Is it 30 minutes? Let's get realistic. How long does that take? Do you think that, oh no, I'm not going to go to Starbucks this morning. I'll just go straight to work. And then you're late to work again because you actually went to Starbucks and you knew you were going to go to Starbucks full time. How long does it take you to go through the Starbucks line? Plan it into your day. Stop being late for something that is so avoidable, right? If you're somebody like me where I know, okay, I've got to make breakfast for my family in the morning, stop thinking that's going to take 5 minutes and then you can, book a client first thing in the morning. You can't do that. So these are those back to basics. Do you get enough water? How much water do you have? $20 says you've tried this 16 times. So you've either got a Stanley, a Nalgene, or, like, what was it, 2020 when we were all drinking out of those like big jugs? And it was like, you're almost there, sis, right? And like the more water you drank, it got all the way down to the bottom. And they're like, you did it. The point is, we've been here before. We've tried these things before. So stop acting like you don't know how to do them and that you're shocked that they get in your way. Back to basics. So this year does speed up a lot for a lot of us. This year brings, even though it feels, an intuitive message for all of us. Even though it feels as though this year is slow and it's not working, like me in a lot of areas of my life, I feel like all the doors I'm trying to open are not opening. And so it's not saying don't keep trying to open them, but don't be surprised when they don't open. So stop. It's like, it's just not the time right now, but it's also not the time. This is where it's tricky for a lot of us. It's also not the time to not be an active participant in what we want. But this is what happens when we do the work. When we do the work and when we're in it, we're going to hear no a lot. We're going to hear the things that don't work. That doesn't mean stop trying, right? Listen, I'm not a huge Kardashian fan, but I can tell you favorite Kris Jenner quote of, if I hear no, I just know I asked the wrong person. So that yes is available. We just haven't found it yet. So hearing all of these no's, Rachel LaForce, over and over again in certain ways, it doesn't mean that it's not working. It means that the thing that's wanting to come through is on its way to you. So this is not the time. Yes, there's a lot of rest still happening until the equinox. I want to share that. And even kind of that first month into spring, and as things are transitioning, we're about to go into eclipse season. Things are really going to be heating up for a lot of us personally on a collective level. So yes, get that rest in, but that's also this aspect of back to basics. So the best way to support ourselves as we're going into these bigger energies is this is not a time to stop. Again, this is why this is not a slow living, slow down. This is lock in your pace. This is a marathon. This whole year, I hate to break it to you, this is a year of building. Now, if you're building and you're looking for those yeses and you're paying attention to the no's and you're not still trying to open a door that's saying no, this is a year of building that comes easily. Okay? These miracles come easily. These things you're wanting, you will attract easily. That doesn't mean on the first try. That means when we lock in our pace, when we know where we're going, when something says no, when someone says no, when an opportunity doesn't come through, it's okay to acknowledge our disappointment. I'm sitting on a lot of disappointment right now. And I'm like, oh, that's what that feeling is. It's not failure. What I'm doing is still working. I'm just disappointed that maybe things aren't working out the way that I wanted them to. What would I say to my son if that happened? I would go, that's okay. We can handle disappointment. So I would like to say that again to myself and to all of you. You can handle disappointment. Disappointment just shows you that you are in action of the thing that you want. It's a good thing. It doesn't feel good, but it is also a mile marker of you are in the game, right? To be in the arena, you're going to get stepped on by some bulls. That's how it goes. So disappointment, failure, frustration, these are all aspects of doing the work, of being in the game. So don't get discouraged now. This is not the time to get discouraged. What this time is for, say it with me now, to the basics. You're right. Is going back to the basics, but here's why, because we're going to lock in that pace. We know where we're going. We know that this year is going to be arduous. We're going to come up against a lot of things that we have not confronted, we have not seen, we are not familiar with, we are uncomfortable. But if we stay with it, if we allow our pace throughout the year to change and shift as it needs to be in the best service of ourselves, guess what? We win, period. And who doesn't want to be a winner? She's a regular Vince Lombardi, folks. But that's the thing. If you want to win, stay in the game. The only way you lose is to bail out now. That's it. That's the only way that you lose. And so support yourself. Let this be the month that you accept the raw reality. There were some really big things I was going after. And I'm like, but that's because like we need to make bigger asks and we need to do, it's like, yeah. And also like, let's not be delusional, right? Like what are the facts on the table? Okay, if those are the facts on the table, then anything above that is a bigger ask, right? So sometimes it's also that it's like, okay, whoa. We need to like go back and look at like, you can't make a Honda Accord into a Ferrari. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people on I-75 trying to, but you know what I mean? Like what is it that you're working with right now? And let's start there and let's build from there. But hearing these no's, hearing the frustration, getting bonked up against something, of all of these things, again, let's keep working on balancing this harmony. If these spaces are of interest to you, if the newsletter, if my podcast are working for you, please go and check out the Misfit Light. It's really all kind of like weekly lessons about helping us live in our highest expression. It's really helping get you into that place of empowerment, being able to empower yourself, your community, right? It's really kind of high spiritual living and lessons for all of us to really begin to live in harmony. Harmony does not mean that everything is working out all the time. Harmony does not mean bliss, but harmony does mean without self-inflicted conflict, meaning you are getting out of the way. Right now, my mantra is the simplest solution is the solution. And I don't like that because for me, I'm like, well, if there's a will, there's a way. Sure, there is. And in fact, right now, if I wanted to, I could walk to Michigan. I could. It would be a terrible choice when we have airplanes, we have trains, right? I could ride along, I could hitchhike. That would even be a better choice. And don't at me, but stay with me, right? So sometimes the most simple solution is the solution. And that's locking in the pace. The choices and things that we're making now are to move the game forward. It's not to jump to the front of the line. Okay? I believe in you. I love you so much. Again, if these are things that are helpful for you right now, I'm doing a 4-part series with the Misfit Light, all about learning to live with harmony, learning to create that in our lives, balancing the idea of body, mind, and soul. So many of the lessons and teachings that I offer, they all overlap. They all crisscross, right? Because it's all life. It's all things that we're dealing with, and it's all collective energy. So if you find that that's something that's helpful for you, you can check that out in the newsletter here. I have lots of announcements. I feel like I've talked to you long enough. So you can click all of those buttons. I've got my comedy special coming up, the Rachel LaForce show, all the good things. My books are open right now. If you want to do a creative consult, there's more information on that. I'm going to be sending you guys some emails with a little bit more information with that. Really what the overall arcing look and feel of the Misfit Light reading is. I know so many of you reach out and ask me, well, kind of what are your readings for? And all of the readings and things I've done over the last year, I've really kind of taken them all together and created something that feels very unique and specific to me and my gifts and how I can better help you. So I'm going to trust that for you, those of you that resonates, you're going to show up. I can't wait to work with you. You know what else I can't wait to see? What the end of the month looks like. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a long one. There's going to be a lot of transformation. So let's stay in it, and April is going to be churning out and bringing something new. But, we're going to spring forward with our clocks. We've got Easter is like inching her way in at the end of this month. We've got a lot of big stuff, the spring equinox, and we have first birthdays, family in town, taping, surgery, and recovery all happening this month. So if you got any extra prayers, why don't you send them to our household, okay? I'm so proud of you. This work is not easy. It is the most beneficial thing in the world, and it does create more harmony in our life. It creates more expansion. And you can truly live the life that you want and the life that you love. That's what the work is here to do. All right? Stay in it. Stay light. Love you, mean it.
Time, weather, and highways.